You know, like sometimes people take your kindness for granted out here, especially like kind people. So you can't really, sometimes you can't really show them that you're kind immediately. But some people can't help it, you know what I mean? And some people are just really like assholes.
New York is a monster, that's it. Like New York is just a monster. I've been to New York, I moved straight into Harlem and I was not ready. Like I was still just like this little like, I don't know. If you want it, you'll make it here.
There's definitely a lot more assholes in New York than anywhere else, I'd say that. I can be an asshole sometimes. Yeah. Asshole. I'm an asshole. All right.
I think that New York is an environment that I always saw myself thriving in because it's so diverse and everyone minds their business. So I could walk down the street just like this and not get any stares because I got that a lot back in DC.
It's amazing to see that the things that were happening in Brooklyn in the 80s and 70s are still affecting the world now.
This garden was started by one of the elders here in the community. His name is Mr. James. It's called Green James Garden. You gotta imagine, like, this used to be garbage, you know? This is how they treated our communities 25 years ago. They used to just dump garbage here, you know? Where people lived. And they had no qualms about it, you know? And so my message would be is like, we don't have to settle for our conditions, you know? We can transform our conditions at any given time.
The white folks that used to migrate to the city were the outcasts, right? Were the people that were kicked out of their little communities because they were artists or because they were gay or because they were different, and they came here and they blossomed. Now I feel like it's just regular motherfuckers coming here from West Bubblefuck, Michigan that bring a blandness. I'm speaking dead frank. They bring a blandness.
So I DJ everything. I like to keep my sets as diverse as possible. So I'll go from like ballet funk to trap music to a Vogue beat to some disco to some R&B, just some more trap music, reggae, reggaeton, dembow, funk, rock and roll, alternative stuff, deep house.
Look down this way. Look up.
I am a real New Yorker, not like these fake wannabe people. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. What is it to be from Brooklyn? Being from Brooklyn means you're real, and it means you're good looking.
All the culture is still, I mean, it's as intact as it can be, like, at this point. You want to go to a bodega, you want to go to, like, your little, like, grocery store. Like, I want them to leave, like, our Brooklyn.
Chelsea was a sewer. Chelsea had prostitutes. It was dirty. New York was so dirty when I came here. Broken down, dirty. It was out of this world. They had 42nd Street, all this smutty, you know. It's cleaned up more. I mean, New York can never really totally clean up. You see, they've taken bookstores away. We used to be able to go into bookstores. We didn't have many bookstores. I wish we could. We used to go into Barnes and Noble in the Sixth Avenue, just read. And there was one downtown. And I miss the bookstores. I miss going to the bookstores.
Do you think it's still creative?
You just have to sit and look at people. I can look at people. I mean, I can just look at the people here, and it's very fascinating. My husband used to say, don't talk to everybody. You talk to everybody, but you learn a lot.
But it's interesting when people say you're so lucky you get to do what you love, because, like I said, it's a complicated kind of love. It's not that, oh, I love this. It's, you know, sunshine and rainbows and unicorns every day walking into the studio. It's really, it's work. I've had those moments where I thought, I just want to quit. You know, it's sort of like you're bearing your soul to the world and saying, this is what I chose to do. You know, tell me now, you know, how do you like it? I fell in love with the idea that oil had such a connection to flesh. When I was painting portraits, there was something that felt very natural about using this material to create this likeness and this image. There are going to be those that question somebody who's not a person of color painting people of color. You know, for them, that doesn't click. You know, I'm that guy that I never was easily defined, you know, as a person anyway. I'm half Japanese and half Newfoundlander from Canada. I've been a guy that's always been a square peg in a round hole.
I'm an alcoholic that doesn't drink. I'm a drug addict that doesn't use drugs. I've been sober and clean for 17 years, but I still have that compulsion and obsession, but I've channeled it to art. So I create, I create the way I used to drink and drug. Like I binge on art. Acrylics is my drug of choice. I don't think I got into art, I think it got into me. I had no formal teaching, and I didn't have anyone to actually push me in that direction. It happened organically. My uncles used to call me Little Brother Einstein because I was always experimenting and trying to see what would happen if I put this with this and what would come of it, you know. Every time I create a piece, I'm learning from it and I'm excited about it because it's brand new to me. And each piece teaches me something different. I'm happily naive. Like I don't I'm not jaded about art. It's all like exciting to me.
I remember looking at a wall and there was these signs, you know, music, and so we said go across the floor. So then they had like a stage and I kind of crawl up there, bang on the piano, and she said she'll be a dancer or a pianist. In fact, in our house, we had a chandelier in the dining room, and overhead was my room, and I would jump in. If someone would shake me, I said, don't do that anymore. I used to imagine, I used to like to choreograph, I used to do creative things. But this, inside of me, I knew I wanted to leave Toronto. I couldn't be there. I said, no, I cannot do this anymore.
This is Crystal House. Started out in 2001. Basically, it's a housing cooperative for Black and brown folks. This whole first floor is kind of like a common space where the residents utilize for their own purposes. And then we also offer it to the community to do different events, because like say if you want to get you want to rent a venue in New York City, it could be really expensive, you know? There'll be like a $3,000 bar guarantee, or they'll charge you $1,500 for the night. Here we'll ask for a donation from anywhere from like $300 to $500, you know? You start claiming and reclaiming not only your own internalized development, but you're also the external form of development, right? Looking at us as developers of the land, you know, not just someone who's got a multinational corporation backing them. That we're seen more as disposable, so they push us out.
One thing that's a flaw for New York is an ego thing. Like everyone has an ego thing that they have to work on, and you know, I have to work on mine. Yes. And yes, as an artist, I am gonna be sensitive about my shit, but I'm always willing to work with everybody else. As a young girl, I was always very quiet and I was very awkward. Yeah, I was dorky and goofy and stuff. I still am, but you know, now I'm more like, I put my foot down, I'm more in myself. Before I just felt like I was too much or too little of this or that, you know what I mean?
No, I just want to keep creating and working. And that's what I want. That's my future. I'd like to do new work. I really would.
I think I already have my life mapped out so far, for the most part. And even though random stuff has happened that kind of took me off kilter a little bit, for the most part, I'm moving according to plan, and I give it another 10 years before I'm really able to get my feet wet and create some type of political change.
Leveling up is about taking everything I do to the next level, enhancing everything. So if it's right here, it needs to be there and up there.
My message would be that we are divine by nature. And we're more beautiful than we recognize. We're smarter than we recognize. We're more talented and gifted than we recognize. We are God made manifest on earth. And I feel like once we start to function from that understanding, we will elevate, all of us, as a race, as a people, as human beings.
I can't give you guys all my secrets. That's it? Yeah. All right, over and out.